Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 6, Dhyana Yoga, text number 26. Yato yato nischalati manasya chanchala asthiram tatastato niyamayetad atmani vavasham nait. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Very, very important verse for us, especially the next few verses are very, very important because we have experienced it and we've heard also about it that most people have great difficulty in controlling the mind. And here Krishna is giving the nature of the mind. It is flickering and it is unsteady. These are the two main, you can say, characteristics of the mind. So now, knowing this, Krishna is trying to help us through Arjuna, explaining to us how we can control this mind which is flickering, at the same time it is unsteady. So Krishna is acknowledging that the mind wanders. And we have experienced that even when we are hearing Bhagavad Gita class, the mind wanders. It travels thousands of miles in a split second. And because it is flickering and unsteady, it keeps going here, there, and everywhere. Srila Prabhupada calls the mind like a monkey that keeps jumping from one tree to another. And as I have heard, it is said that we have almost 22,000 desires every day. And that happens in the mind. So mind is flickering and it's running away. But what is Krishna telling Arjuna? Withdraw it and bring it back under control. What do we see when the children, they are really naughty and they are destructive and they're running here and there? What do? We try to control them. We try to give them something that would be interesting to them, give them higher taste. You see, just like it's the nature of the child. Very rarely we'll find children who will just sit quiet and not do any mischief or not run here and there. Very rare. Most children are very, you can say, restless. They want some engagement. Otherwise, they get bored and then they start running here and there and doing things. The same is with the mind. The nature of the mind is flickering, and its nature is to travel here, there, and everywhere. But that can be disastrous for us. Just like a destructive child can be in danger, may do something that may harm the child. The same applies to the mind also. It is very dangerous if we do not control the mind. And to control the mind, the whole Bhagavad Gita was given to us by Krishna. And he has explained the yoga ladder, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga, the topmost. So when we practice bhakti yoga, then we will be able to control our mind. Otherwise, it is not possible to control the mind. It is going to go here, there, and all. And if we do not control the mind, it will be very dangerous for us. Why? Because there will be disaster. The mind, because it is so flickering and so unsteady, it will make us do things which are not right. It may take us to places which we are not supposed to go. And the easiest way to control the mind is meditation. In this age that we are living in, the best way to control the mind is mantra meditation. Man means mind, tra means to relieve, to remove the anxiety, to free the mind of the anxiety. That is mantra. So when we chant the mantra on a daily basis, the mind starts coming under control. See, it needs training. Even when I want to learn something new, like maybe software or music or anything, I, of course, need a teacher, a bona fide teacher. I need knowledge about it. But at the same time, I need training from the teacher, training the mind how not to let it control us. Mostly people are under the control of the mind. Whatever the mind says, we just do it without thinking it's right or it is wrong. So, to be able to control the mind, one needs to come to a stage of self realization. And as we are learning in this chapter of Dhyana Yoga, Krishna is teaching how to become a perfect yogi. Just by going to a yoga class, we do not become a perfect yogi. That is just for the physical body. What about the mind? A perfect yogi is one who has become self realized, who has understood, I am not this body and I am the spirit soul, who has understood how to control the mind. And this is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, right? So, the mind actually works under the influence of intelligence. So, first, there is the gross body. Then, above that are the senses, the five senses we have. Above that is the mind. And above the mind is the intelligence. And above the intelligence is us, we, the real us, the spirit soul. And above the spirit soul is the super soul, which is the supreme Lord in the heart of every living entity. So, if the intelligence is above the mind, then it is up to the intelligence to control the mind. Now, the intelligence will be able to control the mind only, and if only the intelligence is fed with knowledge. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, sharpen your intelligence with the sword of knowledge. And that is why we study the Bhagavad Gita every Sunday at 8 o'clock. And I am really grateful to all of you for joining regularly on Sundays at this time. So we can learn, we can get the knowledge and understand and be able to train our mind. Because once the intelligence controls the mind will control the senses. This is how it works. You see, there is a word called Goswami. Go means senses. In Sanskrit, go means senses. In English, it's go means go. But in Sanskrit, go means senses. Goswami is Swami is the master. So Goswami is the master of the senses. But unfortunately, most people are go das. Das means servant, servant of the senses. So those who are under the control of the senses, they are called godas, which means servant of the senses. But we need to become controller of the senses. We don't want senses to control us. If the senses are uncontrolled, then definitely we are under the, we get the position of servant of the senses. That's why it's very important. That's why Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna on how to control the senses, become a Goswami, controller. And who is a Goswami? Someone who has reached that stage of sense control is happy in all circumstances, does not lament, does not, feel sad. It doesn't matter what the situation is. That person is experiencing permanent happiness in all situations. Won't we like to do that? We would like to be in that position. So, how to control the senses? By engaging them in the right way. Rishikesha. Krishna's another name is Rishikesha, means he is the master or controller of the senses. So when we engage our senses in the service of the Supreme Lord Rishikesha or Krishna, then that is called the right engagement, and that is the right way to control the mind. How? By mantra meditation. When we perform mantra meditation, those sound vibrations, they help to cleanse our heart of all the unwanted things, lust, anger, greed, pride, whatever it may be. So when we start performing mantra meditation on a daily basis, then it is going to give us automatically higher taste. Many times I give this example. When the child is eating mud or sand or dirt, the child is not going to give it up if we just keep saying, don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. No, we have to give the child higher taste to give up the lower taste. So when we give a candy to the child, immediately the child is going to give up eating mud. That is the situation of the mind. When we give a higher taste to the mind is going to give up the lower taste. Now, in the very next verse, Krishna is talking again about a perfect yogi, someone whose mind is fixed on the Supreme Lord. And because the mind is fixed, the result, transcendental happiness. What's the difference between material happiness and transcendental happiness? Material happiness has a beginning and it has an end. Do we remain happy all the time? Say, I'm looking for a brand new car, and that's going to make me happy. That's what my mind tells me. And so when I get the car, I'm very happy. That's the beginning of happiness. But then later on, my mind sees something else, says, oh, I want this, I want that. So now the mind is focused on another desire. So the happiness of the new car comes to an end. There's a beginning and an end. Whereas transcendental happiness is permanent, it gives complete satisfaction, not just to the body, but to the soul also. You see, that is the result. So we need to understand the difference between material happiness and transcendental happiness. Now, why is it that the yogi is experiencing that transcendental happiness? Is because the yogi has transcended the three modes of material nature. He's neither in ignorance, nor in passion, nor in goodness. The yogi has transcended to the mode of pure goodness. The yogi has learned how to perform actions which have no reactions. You see, the situations that we are in this material world, in this life, whether it is happiness or distress, is a result of our past karma, our past actions. And that is what we are facing now, the reactions. But the perfect yogi is preparing the future by performing the right actions. You see, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. See, Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. This is what we learn in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is 18th chapter, where Krishna says we need to come to that Brahma Bhuta platform, a perfect yogi. Na shochati na kankshati is not lamenting. A perfect yogi does not lament, oh, I don't have this and I don't like this person, no, there's no lamentation. Why? Because that perfect yogi has reached that transcendental position. And that is why the perfect yogi is always happy, is fully joyful. You see? There are no material desires in the mind coming up. As I mentioned in the beginning of this class, that the mind is flickering and it is unsteady at the same time, and it is producing thousands of desires every day. And that is what, bewilders us. So it's very important to control the flickering and unsteady mind. But this perfect yogi has no lamentation, has no desires, no material desires, is very happy and self satisfied. See, that self satisfaction can be achieved when one stops having expectations from others. You see, when we expect, I want my spouse to behave like this, sit like this, talk like this, do like this. I want my children to be like this. I expect them to get good grades. All those expectations. And then when those expectations are not met, we get frustrated and the mind goes haywire. The mind cannot handle it. We want to be the controllers, we want to control everybody at place of work, in a social circle, in relatives, family. We just want to be but we are not the controllers. So the perfect yogi is equipoised, is does not it does not get affected by dualities, you see, and understands that I am not this body, but I am the spirit soul. And that stage can be reached when the mind is fixed. The mind is not wavering, it's not flickering, it's not running here and there. It is fixed. And that is possible when we engage in devotional service to the Lord, free from contamination. That's very, very important. See? In the very next verse, number 28, Krishna is describing the qualities of a perfect yogi. As I mentioned, he's self controlled and he's constantly engaged in meditation. It's not sporadic that, oh, today I'm going to chant the holy names. For another 1 week, I'll forget about it. And then maybe after a month, I'll remember. No, it's not sporadic. It's constantly engaged in devotional service. And that is how that yogi reaches the highest stage, which is transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now, when we are talking about the perfect yogi, we're talking about a bhakti yogi. We're not talking about Ashtanga yogi who is trying to become perfect in 8 different kinds of yoga perfection, eight limbs of the yoga. No, no. You were talking about bhakti yogi who is performing bhakti, which means devotion. And Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to perform devotional service. And if we understand our constitutional position, that we are the servants of the Lord, and we understand his position, that he is the master and the controller, then we will be able to, accept his instructions. You see. So, this perfect bhakti yogi, how does he become self controlled? Is because the bhakti yogi has constantly practiced to first control the mind. Because if the mind is controlled, then the senses can automatically come under control. See? It's very important to understand. We are not the control. We can't even control our body, right? What happens when there is disease in the body? We have to rush to the doctor. When we can't control our old age, can I control, not getting gray hair or getting wrinkles? No, it's not possible. We cannot even control our body. We cannot even control our happiness and distress, nothing, situation, everything. We are struggling. It's because we have not understood our constitutional position. We think we are the masters and we are in control, but Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to become self realized. Now, in the very next verse, number 29, Krishna is giving information or knowledge about more qualities of a perfect bhakti yogi. He's a Samadarshina. There's a very nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hasine Shuni Cheva Swapakicha Panditaha Samadarshina. Panditaha means a learned person. That yogi is learned. And because of understanding this knowledge and putting into practice, the yogi has become wise. You see, knowledge plus application equals to wisdom. That's how we become wise. So this yogi has become Samadarshana, which means sees everybody equally, understands that the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, understands that all these living entities are not the body, but they are the spirit soul, understands that everything comes from the Lord. When we go to chapter number 10, we will hear Krishna telling Arjuna, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartate. That everything, everybody emanates from me. Krishna says he's the Supreme Lord. He says everything, all planets and demigods and living, everything comes from me. And in the very next chapter 11, he shows it. He gives a practical demonstration to Arjuna by showing his universal form. You see? So, to become a perfect seer, to be able to understand, to be able to realize our position and the Lord's position, we have to practice devotional service constantly, not sporadically, not when I feel like or when I have a desire. No. So, if we want to control the flickering and unsteady mind, if we want to become self realized, then the secret formula is given in the Bhagavad Gita that we need to perform mantra meditation. You see, then we will become perfect seer. Seer means SEER. Seer means one who can see properly. In chapter 15, Krishna tells Arjuna, Sarvasya chaham hriti sani vishtho. I'm situated in everyone's heart. Mataha smriti jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Vedascha sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda ved eva chaham. He says, I'm the compiler of the Vedas. The knowledge that we are all hearing, Bhagavad Gita, is a summary essence of the Vedas. So Krishna says, I'm the compiler. And what is the purpose? Is to know me, to understand the Supreme Lord Krishna. Now, why is he situated in everyone's heart? He's traveling with us from one body to another. When we leave this body, we go to the next body, and in that, we take along our spirit soul, the super soul, and the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego. We go on to the next body. Why is he there? So he can guide us. He's our well wisher, he's our best friend, and he knows everything that we are thinking, feeling, desiring. He knows all our actions. He knows all our choices that we make. So we have that free will to choose what we want to do. Remember him, forget him, or get his knowledge. We choose. And based on our choice, he helps us. God helps those who help themselves. Haven't we heard that before? So we make the choice to love him or not to love him, to remember him or not to remember him. We make the choice to perform mantra meditation on a daily basis or not. That is also our choice. We make the choice, and then based on our choice, we have to face consequences. That is karma. Every action has a reaction. So, if we want to make sure that we do not end up in the cycle of misery, then we need to follow the directions given to us. So if one is sincere, one will really try hard to control the flickering and unsteady mind. The Lord is sitting in our hearts next to us, next to the soul. We just need to turn towards Him and pray to Him to help us to become self realized. You see, He is our mother, He's our father, He's our maintainer, He's equal to everybody. You see, if we read the next level of knowledge besides the Bhagavad Gita, the next level is Bhagavatam. You see these books at the back. In that, the Lord is explaining to us that we are His superior energy. But because we are conditioned in this material world, we are suffering. We are like, of course, he also says, Aham bija pradha pita, that I am the seed giving father of all living entities. That means he's our supreme father and we are his children. And guess what? He's a very rich father, very, very rich. And we, the children, have run away from a rich father. We have left the home, the spiritual world we left, and we have come here to enjoy. Are we enjoying? That is a question we need to ask ourselves. Am I enjoying? Yes. For how long? Do I want to enjoy permanently? If yes, then mantra meditation. That will help us to cleanse our heart, to cleanse our mind, control our mind, and be able to become self realized and become qualified to go back to the spiritual world. Now, today's very last verse that I'm going to read is number 30. Actually, explain number 30. Then we'll continue next Sunday from 31. So, in verse number 30, Krishna says that if we endeavor to see Him, the Supreme Lord, in all living entities, very, very important. Before we are rude or mean or insult someone else, if we can remember the Lord is in the heart of that living entity also, then we will stop. We can control our mind. No, the Lord is in the heart of all living entities. So Krishna is saying, if we can see Krishna in all living entities, then we'll remain conscious of Him all the time. It doesn't matter what the situation is. We will remain calm and composed. When we are looking at the material nature, we see the sun and the moon and the flowers, the nature, the everything that we see. And if we see Krishna in them, in the sense that everything belongs to the Lord and everything is because of Him, He is the provider. When we do that, then we will remain conscious of Him all the time. Mataha parataram nanya. Krishna says, everything rests in me just like the pearls rest on a thread. Remove the thread from the pearls and the pearls are just going to drop on the floor, here and there, scattered everywhere. But what holds the pearls together is the thread. And that is why we can wear the pearl necklace. What's holding it? The thread. And Krishna says, everything rests in me just like the thread in the pearls. So when we take on this knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, then we understand what is the position of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Then we will always remain in his consciousness, and Krishna says, then you will never be lost. Why? Because we'll try to see the Lord in everyone's heart, which means we are trying to see the Lord Himself. There's a very nice prayer book which is called Brahma Samhita. The first created being that Krishna created was Lord Brahma, and he wrote a list of prayers, and one of them is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Gunaswarupam. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. I bow down to that Lord. What does it mean? Prem Anjana. Prem means love. Anjana means the ointment that we apply. You know, ladies, they apply, what is that called? Mascara? I'm not sure what it's called. You know, the black thing that, you know, ladies apply in the eyes. It's called the ointment. So when our eyes are anointed with love for the Lord, then we will be able to see Him. You see? We are trying to see Him, but this is a process. Then we will see Him within the heart. And that is a perfect yogi. And then Krishna will never disappear from our sight. That's called constantly practicing devotional service, which begins with mantra meditation. See? So in this chapter, Krishna is giving us knowledge how, especially these few verses that we read just now, how to control the flickering and unsteady mind. And once the mind is under control, then it's easy to control the senses. And the easiest method is mantra meditation. Now, if we are getting the knowledge, which is good, which is the first step, but now there has to be some practical application as well. When we apply this knowledge, then that is going to help us to become a perfect yogi, which means we will come to a stage of mind control. Otherwise, the mind is going to run here, there, everywhere, like a child, uncontrolled child, you can say. So, this is how we can control the mind. Now, I see that there is, of course, thank you all for coming, but I see Marcia has attended the class for the first time. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to you also, Marcia. And I'll just, because since you've come for the first time, I'll post a few links for you if you're interested. You're welcome. But towards the end of the link, you will see the mantra that we're going to chant now. We'll just chant for maybe 10 times, this Maha mantra, which is going to help us to control the mind. So, it's my very humble request to all of you watching that please chant with me. We'll just chant 10 times and see there are 108 beads in this. It's called a mala. And on each bead, we chant this mantra. And when we chant on all the beads, it takes about, I would say, 8 minutes to chant. So if you can, please try to chant on a daily basis as much as you can. So let's just chant 10 times now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So you see, it's very, very simple. It's not difficult at all. So why are we chanting? And what is this mantra? These are spiritual sound vibrations. It's a prayer to the Lord to please engage us in His service. And when we chant these sound vibrations, they help to purify our hearts. And once the heart become purified, then automatically the mind and senses also get purified. So I'm going to end now, and thank you so much for joining. And we will meet again next Sunday. But in the meantime, before I end, if anyone has any questions or comments, you are